What's up guys, it's ForzaMemories. Today we're going to go over my picks for the top 10 cars that disappeared from the Forza franchise. The top 10 consists of many legendary cars that were very good in the Forza games they were in, but have unfortunately not appeared in the newer titles. With many of these cars not appearing in a Forza game in over a decade, I'll be going over the top 10 cars individually, and I'll explain why they were removed from the Forza franchise. With that being said, let's start off with number 10. At number 10, we have the Bertone Mantide. The Mantide is definitely one of the most unique looking cars I've ever seen. The Mantide was developed by a legendary Italian company named Bertone, who designed many iconic cars such as the Lamborghini Countach. The Bertone Mantide was one of the best S-Class cars in the earlier Forza Motorsport game. The Mantide was last seen over 13 years ago in Forza Motorsport 4. Before I explain why the Mantide disappeared, here's a little introduction to the Bertone Mantide. The Bertone Mantide was a concept car that was based off the 2009 Corvette ZR1. Aside from the exterior, it was basically a Corvette ZR1. It had the ZR1's high-powered 6.2-liter supercharged V8 that gave it 638 horsepower.
We have to break some news.
Interestingly enough, the Mantide had better performance numbers than the Corvette ZR1 thanks to its more aerodynamic friendly body. Bertone claims that the Mantide is faster around any track than the ZR1 because the body of the Mantide has 30% more downforce than the Corvette ZR1. The reason why the Bertone Mantide has been absent from Forza racing games since 2011 is because Bertone went out of business in 2014. Bertone was originally supposed to make 10 Mantides, but due to them filing for bankruptcy in 2014, only one Bertone Mantide was ever made. Bertone itself has not made an appearance in a Forza game in 13 years. However, we could see a return because Bertone was revived in 2022 and is currently making a hypercar called the Bertone GB110. That's it for the Bertone Mantide. Let's move on and talk about number 9. At number 9, we have the RUF CTR YellowBird. The YellowBird is truly an iconic car and was once the fastest car in the world in the late 1980s. Sadly, the YellowBird has not appeared in a Forza game since 2014 and Horizon 2. How can such a legendary car from a legendary tutor not be present in any modern Forza games? Before I explain why, I want to provide you with an introduction to the legendary RUF YellowBird. Developed by the German car manufacturer RUF, the YellowBird was essentially a 1987 Porsche 911 Carrera 3.2, featuring a 3.4-liter twin-turbo flat 6 that outputs 463 horsepower and 408 pound-feet of torque. YellowBird could reach speeds of up to 213 miles per hour, combined with a 0 to 60 of 3.7 seconds. The YellowBird was by far the fastest and most powerful production car in the world in 1987. Now we're going to get into the reasons why the YellowBird is not in any modern Forza games. The company RUF is still around and creates their own cars, but the reason why RUF and the YellowBird are no longer Forza games is because of Porsche. Forza and many other racing games use RUF as a replacement for Porsche because Porsche had an exclusive agreement with EA Sports to only appear in Need for Speed. After the contract expired and was not renewed, Forza bought licensing rights to Porsche and then dropped licensing rights with RUF. At number 8, we have the Chrysler ME412. Now this thing was a monster when it came to existence in 2004. The Chrysler ME412 was supposed to lead a new age of hypercars with ridiculous power and great performance in the first two Forza Motorsport games. It's a shame that the ME412 hasn't appeared in any Forza game in almost 20 years. Only way to do right by this car is give an introduction to the absolutely insane Chrysler ME412. Developed by the once existing partnership between Chrysler and Mercedes-Benz, the Chrysler ME412 was not only a stunning car, it was a serious threat to the world of hypercars, featuring a quad turbocharged 6.0-liter V12. The ME412 came with 850 horsepower and 850 pound-feet of torque. These ridiculous power figures gave the ME412 a top speed of 248 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 of just 2.9 seconds. A fun fact about the Chrysler ME412 is that it's actually the fastest car in Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition and in the first Forza Motorsport. At number 7, we have the Bentley EXP 10 Speed 6. The EXP is just a beautiful car that really showcased Bentley craftsmanship. Originally designed for comfort and to prove Bentley could be innovative, the EXP featured a ton of new electronics never seen before in a Bentley car. With awesome performance in Horizon 3 Motorsport 7, it is a shame that the EXP has essentially disappeared from the Forza franchise. I would not be doing the EXP justice if I had not given an intro to it. So here's a little intro to the futuristic Bentley EXP 10 Speed 6. Developed by the British car company we all know and love called Bentley, the Bentley EXP Speed 6. The Bentley EXP 10 Speed 6 was supposed to lead Bentley into a new age of electric and hybrid vehicles. Under the hood of the EXP would have lied a hybrid powertrain. Bentley never disclosed what engine would be underneath the hood, but many sources assumed it was either going to be a turbocharged 8 or 12-cylinder engine that was to be paired with an electric motor. The EXP features some cool additions to it too, like LED lights and red colored glass for the tail lights, which in 2014 was pretty innovative. Now the main reason why the Bentley EXP 10 Speed 6 never appeared in Forza games after 2017 was because Bentley scrapped the whole plan for it entirely and used its design for the 2018 Bentley Continental and its hybrid powertrain for the Bentley Bentayga. I'm not quite sure why Bentley scrapped the plans for the Bentley EXP 10. I'm assuming it's because of its market potential. Not many people could have afforded the high price tag of the EXP, and those who could would not have cared much about the economy and the fuel efficiency in a car of this caliber. At number 6, we have the Pantera. With its first model year being 1971, the Pantera, which means panther in Italian, is still one of the sexiest cars ever made, and it still has very good performance numbers for a car that is more than 50 years old. The Pantera was very solid for the lower class races at both Motorsport 3 and 4. However, it has been almost 13 years since we last saw the Pantera in a Forza racing game. Before I explain why the Pantera has not appeared in any modern Forza games, here's a brief introduction of the beautiful Tomaso Pantera. Developed by an Italian car company named Tomaso, the Pantera was one of the best performance sports cars you'll buy in the 1970s and 1980s. Powered by a 5.8-liter Ford Windsor V8 that produced 330 horsepower and 344 pound-feet of torque. Pantera was without a doubt one of the most powerful production cars in the 1970s. The main reason why the Pantera has not appeared in any Forza game since Forza Motorsport 4 in 2011 is actually because De Tomaso went bankrupt in 2012. Due to De Tomaso not existing anymore, the licensing agreement between Forza and De Tomaso ended, which is why you no longer see De Tomaso and the Pantera in any Forza game that came out after 2014. That's all for the Pantera. Let's move on to number 5. At number 5, we have the SSC Ultimate Aero. Once deemed the fastest production car in the world, the Ultimate Aero was a freaking rocket ship. Appearing in Horizon 1 and in Motorsport 3 and 4, the Ultimate Aero was truly something else to drive in Forza. Unfortunately, we have not seen the Ultimate Aero in any Forza game in over 12 years. Now before I explain why the Ultimate Aero has not appeared in any modern Forza games, here's an introduction to the SSC Ultimate Aero. Developed by SSC, who's also known for creating the Tuatara, the Ultimate Aero comes with a 6.3-liter twin-turbo V8, produces a ridiculous 1,287 horsepower and 1,112 pound-feet of torque. This immense power, combined with the car's lightweight carbon fiber construction and advanced aerodynamics, allows the Ultimate Aero to achieve staggering speeds and acceleration. In 2008, the Ultimate Aero became the fastest car in the world, reaching 258 miles per hour, 416 kilometers per hour. Now, the reason why the SSC Ultimate Aero is quite unfortunate, because this was the fastest drag car in both the first Forza Horizon and in Motorsport 4. The reason why it's not in Forza is because it's almost impossible to get to test. The Ultimate Aero ended production in 2013, and only 20 exist, so it's a very rare car. The licensing is definitely expensive. Microsoft, Turn 10, and Playground Games probably don't see the Ultimate Aero is worth the trouble, which is quite unfortunate because it is such a unique and beautiful car, and I'd love to see the SSC Tuatara in Forza Horizon 5 also. Appearing in Motorsport 3 and 4, the Furai, which means the sound of the wind, was a masterpiece created by Mazda in 2008. The Mazda Furai was a gorgeous car that showed a new age of rotor race cars. However, something tragic happened to the Mazda Furai, which caused it to be removed by future Forza titles. But before I talk about the tragic incident, here's a little introduction to the Mazda Furai. 787B is a car that you think of when you hear Mazda. The Furai was just another entry into the Mazda brand of creating absolutely crazy race cars. The Mazda Furai was as light as a feather, coming in at 1,488 pounds, and combine that with its Apollo's 3-rotor engine that outputted 450 horsepower. This is one of the craziest cars in the world in the 2000s. In addition to its strong performance numbers, the Furai sound absolutely nuts. So the reason why the Mazda Furai has not appeared in a Forza game in over 13 years is because it actually does not exist anymore. But you can see here, the Mazda Furai caught on fire during a Top Gear power lap at the California Speedway in 2008. The flames engulfed the Mazda Furai and left nothing but burnt carbon fiber. Like the car was completely destroyed. And on top of that, Mazda only made one Mazda Furai. At number 3, we have the Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren, last appearing in Motorsport 6 and in Horizon 2. The SLR was an awesome and very competitive S-Class car. The roofless version of the SLR, called the Sterling Moss, also appeared in Motorsport 4, and unfortunately did not make it to any newer Forza games like the SLR because of several reasons. I'll briefly explain what the SLR was, and then we'll give the reason why it has since been removed from the Forza franchise, developed by Mercedes-Benz and McLaren Automotive. The SLR McLaren featured a hand-built 5.4-liter supercharged V8 that delivers 617 horsepower, 575 pound-feet of torque. This powerhouse of an engine helps the SLR go 0 to 60 in just under 3.5 seconds. If you want to go flat out in the SLR, you can achieve a top speed of 207 miles per hour. The design of the SLR McLaren is a mix of modern and classic elegance. Its long hood, slick curves, and gull-wing doors pay tribute to the iconic 1950 Mercedes-Benz 300 SLR, while its rear and interior were created off of modern styling. Unfortunately, the SLR will probably never appear in a Forza game again. As we know, the SLR was created by a partnership between McLaren and Mercedes and Chrysler. In recent years, McLaren, Mercedes, and Chrysler don't like each other. It will be a hassle to get licensing for the SLR because all of these car companies act as if it never existed. At number 2, we have the Panoz Esperante GTLM, a fairly unknown car in the pop culture, but don't be mistaken, the Esperante was vicious. The performance of the Esperante is top-notch. The race variant of the Esperante is an animal in the world of motorsport, having come second in the 2006 and 2008 British GT Championship. So why has this motorsport icon not appeared in Forza since Motorsport 4? Many of you are probably wondering, what even is Panoz? Panoz is an American motorsport company that develops their own race cars. The Esperante GTLM was the last street car they made. Of course, a car coming from a racing company has set really good performance numbers. The Esperante GTLM did. At the heart of the Esperante lies a 5.4-liter supercharged V8 that outputted an impressive 420 horsepower all the way back in 2006. Panoz is still around and is doing quite good in the world of motorsport. But the reason why we don't see Panoz in a racing game is because of an incident that happened regarding the Nissan Delta Wing. The Delta Wing was mainly developed by Panoz and is a meme because it crashed twice in the span of a couple months in both the 2012 Le Mans and in the Road Atlanta. I'm convinced the Delta Wing was just made to crash because it crashed for a third time in 2016 at Burlex 24. Now at number 1, we have the Gumpert Apollo S. Without a doubt, the best handling R3 class car in both Motorsport 4 and Horizon 1. It is also the most requested car in the Forza forum to be put in Horizon 5. A fun fact about the Gumpert Apollo S is that it was actually featured in the cover of the first Forza Horizon. How can such a loved car disappear entirely for Forza? The specs of the Gumpert Apollo S were insane. At the heart of the Apollo S is an Audi 4.2-liter twin-turbo V8 that delivered a cool 750 horsepower. 750 horsepower at 2,400 pounds is craziness. Since it was created back in 2005, the Gumpert Apollo S was made to break lap records. It even held the Top Gear power lap record. Not too bad for a small German company with the name Gumpert. Unfortunately, Gumpert filed for bankruptcy in 2013, completely disappeared until it was brought back by a company named Venture, who renamed Gumpert to Apollo Automobile, who are known for creating the Apollo IE, which actually does appear in Horizon 5. This is complicated because Microsoft would have to go through Apollo Automobile and the founder of Gumpert, named Roland Gumpert, for the licensing of the Apollo S. Roland Gumpert has since gone on to owning his own car company again, and they're creating some pretty cool cars that are electric but can charge themselves through hydrogen fuel cells. Well, that's all for the video, folks. Thanks for watching, and hope you guys like this video.